United Arab Emirates lifts visa restrictions on Nigerians, resumes flight operations after parley with President Tinubu. On the stock market, investors lost 463.66 billion naira as the NGX all-share index declined. Plus, Brent holds above $90 as traders eye U.S. and European interest rates as guide to demand. The program is Business Express, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I am Musa Bakar, your guide. Now let's begin the program by telling you that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and President of the United Arab Emirates, Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, have finalized a historic agreement that resulted in the immediate cessation of visa ban placed on Nigerian travelers. The agreement also involved both Etihad and Emirates Airlines to immediately resume flight schedules in and out of Nigeria without further delay. This immediate restoration of flight activities due to two airlines and countries does not involve any immediate payments by the Nigerian government has negotiated between both presidents. An agreed framework has also been established which will involve billions of US dollars worth of new investment into the Nigerian economy across multiple sectors, including defense by the investment arms of government of the United Arab Emirates. President Tinubu has also successfully negotiated a joint new foreign exchange liquidity program between both governments, details of which will be made soon. The federal government has secured $163 million loan from the African Development Bank to bolster wheat production in Nigeria. Vice President Kashim Shettima made this announcement during his visit to Arugungu, Kebbi State. Shettima said the launch of wheat production scheme scheduled for 10th November is targeted at upscaling the production of the crop in Jigawa and Kebbi, where 50,000 and 10,000 hectares of land will be cultivated in the states. He highlighted the significance of agriculture and food security as key areas of focus for the federal government. Meanwhile, Vice President Kashim Shettima has flagged off the distribution of palliatives and 140 vehicles for security and mass transit as part of ongoing measures by the federal government to cushion the effects of subsidy removal. Zainab Saidu Abdul Nasser reports.
Is coming up with very robust programs to ameliorate the sufferings of the Nigerian people.
Governor Ahmed Aliyu said apart from the security vehicles provided by his administration, Bua Cement has donated 10 others.
The state government would not accept any laxity on the part of management of Sokoto State Transport Authority.
Inaugurating the Reject Oro overhead bridge, Vice President Kashim Shettima said Nigeria is in huge infrastructural deficit and government is about continuity. Governor Ahmed Aliyu said he decided to complete the project considering its importance to the socio-economic development of the people. At a dinner in his honor, the Vice President said federal government will work with stakeholders to change the human indices of Sokoto State, as the state has one of the worst indices in terms of education. Out-of-school children has a record of 55.1% children under 5 with stunted growth, as well as 80% children and 74% women suffering from anemia. The vice president said federal government is also working to tackle banditry in the northwestern region. In Sokoto,
now, the Central Bank of Nigeria, in its latest data on Nigeria's external reserves, shows that Nigeria's gross official reserves increased marginally by about $2 million at the end of August 2023. The modest accretion is the first since July 2022. Gross foreign reserves fell by an estimated $3 billion in January to August 2023, dropping to $34 billion from $36.61 billion at the end of 2022. The CBN's audited financial statement, which is its first since 2015, shows that about 40% of the reserves are encumbered assets. The report shows that as at the end of 2022, the CBN had borrowed $7.5 billion from overseas banks and owed more than $7 billion as counterparty in foreign exchange forwards. Our attention on the program today is on on Nigeria's foreign reserve. Our guest is an economist, Dr. Simon Galadima, who joins us from Lagos. It's good to have you join us on the program, Mr. Galadima.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, Nigeria.
Okay. Well, let's delve into the matter. First of all, how do you see the transparency by the Apex Bank in revealing the true or weak state of the reserves?
I think that's very commendable. All of us that are really concerned about the economy, we see this as a welcome development. Transparency is a potent tool in governance. And the more transparent you are, the better your governance structure is. So this really shows that the Central Bank of Nigeria means business by opening its books to the world. Sadly, this has not happened in 7 years. So, but the good thing, this is a step in the right direction, and it means that it will boost the confidence of investors. It will boost the confidence of our trading partners in our economy because our books are now open. We are now more transparent in our activities. And this also will mean a lot for the Nigerian economy when people have confidence in you, when people believe that you're transparent and you're not hiding things from them. Because when you hide things from investors, when you hide things from consumers, that creates lack of confidence. That reduces the confidence that people have, and it tips negative zone.
Okay, economic watchers like Fitch Ratings and JP Morgan think that CBN's data shows weaker than expected net reserve position. Do you think it's a concern?
Oh, of course, it's a concern. We have been battling with expenses. For example, the airlines, particularly the foreign airlines, have been trying to repatriate some of their proceeds, and it has been a catastrophe. They failed woefully. And even for Nigerians that need money to import and they need money to spend outside the country, maybe for education, for healthcare, and for different reasons, they have been having it tough trying to access forex. So this will also mean that our forex situation is not really good. We have always known that, but now they are more open about it. So it's not really good for us that our foreign reserves are depleted. But that doesn't mean that we're in trouble. Of course, it's not yet uhuru. We are not there yet. We have not achieved the best position that we'd like to be in. But this does not mean that we're actually in trouble. We are not in trouble. Whatever money you have within Nigeria is safe. If you're holding the Naira, be rest assured that the value will not just suddenly fall to maybe 1,005 as one economist was saying on TV. So it will not happen overnight. But it's definitely going to diminish the confidence of many people, whether Nigerians or non-Nigerians, in the Naira, because they feel the less money you have in your foreign exchange reserves, the less the ability of the monetary authority to defend the value of the naira. So
Okay.
this is not really good for the Central Bank of Nigeria, but that doesn't call for alarm yet.
Okay, does that explain the continuous pressure on the forex market? For instance, the naira is exchanging at up to like 900 naira to a dollar at the parallel market.
Of course, when people don't have confidence in itself, sentiments in themselves contribute to this. And sadly, even Nigerians don't have so much confidence in the naira. And some of the demand for dollar is not because people need it for any economic activity, but they're trying to hedge the market because it's not predictable, and the losses too, because the less foreign exchange reserves you have, the less forex the authorities have, the more the chances that the value of the naira will fall, either by systematic process, that's devaluation, intentionally, the central bank devaluing the naira, or through market forces like we see in the parallel market. So that really explains it. And sadly, with this, less and less confidence will people have in our currency. But like I said earlier on, this is not a situation that you should be alarmed and begin to fear for your life or for the naira. We are not at that particular point yet. Even with the JP Morgan report showing that it's even worse than what this particular report is saying, they said the net is as low as 3 billion. There are countries that have negative nets, yet people are not panicking the way some of us are panicking. I understand the fears people have because I was citing an example, the inflation we have in Nigeria, the cost of living crisis, a particular place in Lagos, in Victoria Island, maybe you used to get a plate of food for 1,005. Now it goes for as high as 5,000 naira. That means the naira is diminishing drastically in value. But that doesn't mean that you should completely dump the naira and the naira is completely worthless. We are not there yet. Be rest assured, I know the value is coming down with inflation and the foreign exchange crisis that we have, but that doesn't mean that you should exert more pressure on the naira. No. But the government needs to get their act together, because no matter what you tell people, if they are not seeing it, they are less likely going to listen to you. So we need to shore up our foreign exchange reserves. Thankfully, the oil theft is being tackled. I hope it will be tackled in a sustainable way so that we export some more, we generate the much needed foreign exchange, and we boost our reserves. That will give more confidence, and that will reduce the extent of our inflation. So that would really help if the government can do that.
Okay, do you see the move by the federal government to unify the exchange rate helping this situation? And if not, what do we need to do? What more do we need to do to really get this thing, to our advantage?
The unification of the exchange rate is the right thing to do.
Well, it seems like we lost Mr. Galadima. We're having some connection issue. Now, let's move to insurance. Data from the National Bureau of Statistics shows that the insurance sector rebounded in the second quarter of 2023 as the sector grew by 8.29%. The report on the economic performance showed that the sector contracted by 7.25% in the first quarter of the year when the cash crunch crippled the economy following the decision of the Central Bank of Nigeria to redesign the nation's currency. While the financial sector accounts for 90.78% share, the insurance sector contributed 9.22% to the sector's overall performance in real terms during second quarter 2023. It's worth noting that the overall growth rate was slightly lower than that of second quarter 2022 by 1.90%, but it marked a substantial increase of 5.63% compared to the preceding quarter. Now to energy, Brent crude futures held above $90 a barrel on Tuesday, while investors awaited macroeconomic data that could indicate whether interest rates will rise further in the U.S. and Europe. Brent crude futures rose 28 cents, $90.92 a barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures edged 35 cents to higher to 87 $64. Brent reached $90 a barrel last week for the first time in 10 months after Saudi Arabia and Russia announced they will extend voluntary supply cuts of a combined 1.3 million barrels per day until the end of the year. Traders will be watching August U.S. Consumer Price Index data due for release on Wednesday, which could well determine how much further interest rates rise in the world's largest economy and the biggest oil consumer. CMC Markets analyst Tina Tang said. Still talking commodities, gold prices settled into a holding pattern on Tuesday as investors awaited U.S. inflation figures that could provide an updated view on interest rates. Let's now see how other commodities are trading around the globe. And as the capital market, equities market began first weekday of trading on the Nigerian Stock Exchange bearish as investors lose 463.66 billion naira. The oil share at 1.24% to close at 67,296.18 basis points. A total of 520 million securities valued at 8.3 billion naira were traded in 9,914 deals. Equity capitalization fell to 36.8 trillion naira. UBA, Access Holding PLC, and Transcorp were the most traded stocks at the end of the session. You're still watching Business Express. Now, the present administration is receiving applause for the new executive order signed by President Tinubu, which suspended the 5% excise tax on telecommunications services, among others. Experts believe that these will reduce the tax burden and grow the economy. Amaka O reports.
Since its emergence, the present administration has been deliberate with what experts consider the right steps to positioning the nation's economy on the right growth trajectory. The Tax Reforms Committee, recently inaugurated, is another right decision taken as expected to address complexities surrounding multiplicity of revenue collection among other critical aspects of taxation.
We have seen the reverse charge mechanism implemented by FIRS in respect of banks and telecommunication services. So this is to ensure that there's no loss of VAT revenue by direct charging of VAT. And then there is a bill, the National Inspector General of Tax Crimes Commission bill. That bill, if for nothing else, will ensure accountability in the utilization and distribution of tax revenue. With all this, I see light at the end of the tunnel in the Nigerian tax system, Nigerian economy.
To ensure that we have more people in the tax net rather than putting pressure on few companies that are paying their taxes. We should encourage tax compliance.
The current debt service to revenue ratio is put at 73.5% in 2023. It is a clear indication that borrowing is not an option, as clearly spelled out by the administration.
This is the time we must work on our revenue side. If the revenue is there won't be need for borrowing.
Looking inwards, an expansion of revenue base, such as addressing loopholes in the tax system, remains key to economic recovery and transformation. In Lagos, Amaka O.
Thank you, Amaka. Well, this is where we end this edition of Business Express. We value your feedback, so keep the comments, observations, and suggestions coming. Be informed that all previous episodes are available on YouTube on the NTA's channel. Business Express returns Wednesday at 3 p.m. I'm Musa Abubakar. Enjoy the rest of your day.